We have a very special guest joining us on the Stay Strong India campaign. The Meghalaya Chief Minister, Conrad Sangma, is joining us live on Republic TV and the Republic Media Network. Conrad, good to have you back on Republic TV once again. We remember speaking to you on several occasions during the first wave when, Meghalaya, like most Indian states, successfully managed to fight and win the battle against COVID-19. As far as the second wave is concerned, Conrad, how is Meghalaya prepared? I'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, Niranjan, thank you so much for having me over. The fact of the matter is that Meghalaya, being a state which is slightly more interiors, we have a time advantage in the sense that the other states like Bombay and Maharashtra and Delhi are hit first. So we do have a space where we're able to see what's impacting them. So that gives us a bit of advantage. Second aspect is even after the first wave, Meghalaya most probably was one of the only states that did not let its guards down. And we ensured that every individual coming in came in with some kind of a certificate or was tested. So that is, I think, a very, very important aspect in our strategy, that we never let our guards down. Third aspect in this whole thing is that though we are able to learn from last year's experience, which really helps us to understand the trend of how things will go, this virus is different, acting very fast, and therefore we need to be one step ahead. And that's why in today's entire strategy of what we're doing is we are ensuring that we don't delay things too far. We have gone for a large number of restrictions, even though our numbers are in a 1,400, 1,800 group. We feel that if we take the decision too late, then things might go out of control. So we decided to take things in advance, and we have put very strong restrictions in the most crowded and more commercial areas of the state. But having said all of this, one cannot really predict how things will go, because this virus has been really, this mutant, has been very, very difficult to predict. And we hope that these steps that we have taken and the vaccination drive that we are pushing and the kind of awareness that we are putting, we hope that we'll be able to contain things in this near future, in the next 1 week to 10 days.
Okay. Conrad, as far as the oxygen supplies go, now many states, now the reason I'm asking you this question is that, many northeastern states have started to see a slight, spike in the number of cases that are being recorded on a 24-hour basis. Now, on oxygen, on remdesivir, on medical infrastructure, how is Meghalaya prepared?
Well, the situation, of course, is similar to what other states are facing. But as I mentioned, we had a bit of a time frame, about at least 15, 20 days of kind of a gap, where we were able to push to a large extent the kind of oxygen supply, the remdesivir, and even the overall health infrastructure that we have. And hopefully in the next coming days, we'll be able to bump it up again by another 30 to 40%. But we must realize one thing, that no matter how many oxygen cylinders we have, no matter how many beds we have, or no matter how many vials of remdesivir we have, if the numbers go beyond a certain point, no infrastructure, whether in Meghalaya or any part of the country, can handle things after a certain point in time. Therefore, prevention is the number one strategy that we need to realize. Yes, we will have to increase our oxygen supply. Yes, we will have to increase our medical infra, because this particular virus, as I said, is much more severe, and people are needing oxygen and other medical attention much more compared to last year. But even if we bump up things, if the numbers go beyond a certain point and we don't take preventive measures, then no matter how much infrastructure we have, it will be difficult to provide the necessary support to every patient. So we're going for a two-pronged strategy where we're ensuring, I should say three-pronged strategy. Number one is preventive, ensuring that restrictions are there early Number two is aggressive vaccination, at least of the vulnerable society and the groups, and hoping that these supplies come in soon for the rest. And third, most important,
Yeah. Sorry, I think I lost you there. You said third most important and I lost your audio there, Conrad.
there's a loss.
Okay, okay. So we'll try and reconnect that line with you. If you can hear me, okay. So we'll try and reconnect. I think we just lost the audio line with Conrad Sangma. We'll try and reconnect with him. Conrad Sangma talking about Meghalaya's fight against COVID-19. Now, in the first wave, Meghalaya was one of the states that was effective in containing the battle against COVID-19. So we'll try and reconnect that line with Conrad Sangma. We will, as we speak, we're just trying to reconnect with him. But talking about how his state is prepared as far as the supplies and the medical infrastructure goes. Of course, talking about how, as of this minute, okay, I think he's back with us on the phone line now. Yes, you were on the point of, go ahead. I think you were at a...
So that's the whole thing. We need to have preventive to ensure that the numbers don't spike.
Yeah.
We need to ensure that we go for a massive vaccination program and ensure that everybody gets the vaccine who's eligible. And number three, to ensure that we expand our infrastructure to the maximum extent possible. And there's another aspect also to ensure that while we are handling the infrastructure, it's important to involve the communities and society in the entire process.
Yes.
There are a lot of cases which can be handled at the ground level where people may not need to come to the hospitals and take up the beds which which others may need more. So to be able to filter that also, it's a very important aspect. We have worked very closely with society in the last year in the first wave, which really helped us. We had over 6,000 COVID management committees at the village level, and we coordinated with them. They really helped the entire fight against COVID. This year also, we are really working together with the community and with the society. That's very important.
Yeah. Just taking a point out of what you said about the vaccination drive. Of course, you've been monitoring the developments in different states about the vaccination drive, which was due to kick off on the 1st of May. But there are hurdles as far as the supplies go. Now, I want to hear from you about how you're planning the rollout and what the status of the procurement of these vaccines are.
The first phase and the second phase has gone pretty well. We have covered a large number of the people above the age of 45 and the frontline workers. The challenge is really the 18 plus, now 18 to 45. Now, we know that the entire country is facing a shortage. That's the first challenge. The second challenge is that there are certain other states that need the vaccine more because of the kind of spread. So therefore, in this entire situation, we as a state and many other states are facing a big challenge. It was supposed to be rolled out from first, but even after communication with the Serum Institute and with the Government of India, they have not been able to give us a clear indication as to when or which date we will get the supply. But we are hopeful that at least certain amount can come in every week, which will allow us to at least continue the program. May not be in the scale that we want and the speed at which we would want to, but we are hopeful that we will get a certain quota which will allow us to continue this process. And I'm hopeful that towards the end of the month of May, we should be able to see the speed pick up. And we as a state are targeting that at least by July end or sometime in August, by August 15th, we should be able to at least finish the first dose for all the people, the 15 lakh population who are eligible between the age of 18 to 45. That's really our target, and we're moving very aggressively. I hope we'll get a positive response from Government of India as well as from the Serum Institute. And we understand the challenges that they're facing. It's not easy, but we really need to work together in this and find a way forward.
Yeah. You know, in the first wave, Conrad, we saw the pictures of you being on the streets trying to enforce that a lockdown and a strict lockdown was imposed. Now, the unpredictability of the second wave is such that, you don't know how soon or how late or how much of a spike you can expect. It's really unpredictable. Now, where do you stand on the issue of a lockdown? What are the challenges that you see this time around?
Well, we have learned from last year that a general lockdown is not really a solution that really will help in the long run, because the point is that yes, you can lock down, and yes, it will if have a strong impact on the spread of the virus. But we need to realize that there is another aspect of livelihood and economics also here. So the challenge is really balancing the two out. How do we balance economics, livelihood versus the safety of our citizens? And therefore, we realize that decentralized decision making is the best way to move forward. We have empowered the deputy commissioners to take decision at their own level on which zones, micro areas should be converted into containment zones, whether schools and colleges should be closed or not, whether the weekly market should be closed or not. So all these aspects, wherever we can give a bit of flexibility, we have given to the deputy commissioners to do it. But in general, we have decided that large gatherings will not be allowed, no matter for public, political, or religious purposes. But really the challenge for our state and for the whole country is to balance out between livelihood economics and the health aspects. And as I said, that for us, complete lockdown is something that we'll avoid, but we are going for massive restrictions so that gatherings are not allowed. Schools, colleges are being closed in a lot of locations. Weekly markets are being closed. We are close to Bangladesh. We have 443 kilometers.
Yeah.
We're not allowing any kind of international trade with Bangladesh for the next 10 days. So all these aspects are being looked into, but we're minimizing the impact on the economics.
Okay, that's a breaking news update there, that you're not allowing any sort of interaction or a trade with Bangladesh in the next 10 days. But I wanted to ask you one last question, Conrad, and that is about, when we spoke to the Manipur Chief Minister over the weekend, and we spoke to 5 or 6 chief ministers, and one question that we had to ask each one of them was about the issue of coordination between states. There has been such a big debate, and of course, this is exactly what we don't need right now. We don't need a political debate. People don't want to hear about, who's doing something or who hasn't done something or who has succeeded or failed. Now, on the issue of coordination, how do you see all states working together? What's your view and what's your take? Because in the first wave, when it happened, we saw all states working together. There was a semblance of a coordination. Now, where do you stand on the issue and the importance of working together at a time like this?
You see, there's no other way to beat this virus and the situation than to work together. So there is absolutely no space for any kind of whether politics or taking advantage of the situation to come up out here. We need to realize, and India has done it before, and I'm sure we can do it again. And we have come over so many crises, and we will come over this crisis also. But it can only happen if all Indians are together. We must realize that this fight can only be won if every citizen takes the responsibility at their own level. We realize that this is a fight not against individuals or states or political parties or leaders, but it's against the virus. And the only way to come forward and come out of this is to work together.
Yeah, and people are looking for positivity. It's important
Absolutely.
to also motivate people. So, what's your message to our viewers on the Stay Strong India campaign?
Well, my message is 3. Number 1 is that we need to be united. Let us not play any blame games out here. Let us not try to find faults in the system. It was a very, very big challenge, and things hit us very fast. We need to realize that we need to work together. That's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2, we need to be responsible at our own individual level. We need to realize that sometimes just by wearing a mask, if every individual starts taking that responsibility and having that behavioral change, 50% of the fight against COVID is won. And number 3 is that please ensure that whenever your chance comes in, please take the vaccine at the earliest. It has worked, and it is proven that it gives protection. So I urge everybody that when the chance comes in, when the availability is there, please go and get your vaccine.